This is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. Meant to watch some anime before the show, didn't. Just watched Mother's Basement's review of other terrible anime that came out this fall, so we're going to have some stuff on the podcast in the next couple of episodes.
All right.
I'm Blackhole. I don't know if it was my turn yet, but you've got me now.
It was your turn.
I'm very sleepy. I tried doing triphasic sleep last week, and it didn't interface with the weekend, so I started doing normal, like 8 hours of sleep in normal blocks. But then today I accidentally started doing it again, so...
Oh, okay.
That was not intentional.
Well, wish you best of luck on your sleep journey.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Hi,
so I'm
Joey.
gonna be kind of out of it. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I unfortunately didn't watch anime this week, so I don't have anything to come back to. I'm here to put Magpie on blast for finally finding an attractive One Piece character.
You're blasting
that would be
Magpie?
Yeah. With my mind, laser beam, boom. So yeah, that would be Lilith from the Egghead arc.
Do I really need to open your Tumblr right now? And just go.
It's all robots all the way down
just go
for me.
through what I see.
I'm not defensive at all. The world can know about my robotic tendencies.
You're not defensive at all. That's why all of them are tagged. I'm normal. I'm normal.
Do we want some anime news?
Glass houses. Really
anyway,
bad.
do you guys want some news?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Or do I have to parry more attacks?
Smiley face.
Dextero put out a pretty interesting list. This is news, I guess, but it's just it's sort of an indication of like anime's penetration into like the Western cultural consciousness. We don't have the soundboard in here, Blackwell. You can't do that. Anyway.
Oh, woman.
They released their top 10 most hated TV characters.
Oh, okay.
And there's some familiar faces on here.
Okay.
At number 1 is Joffrey Baratheon from Game of Thrones, which I think does make sense, and that was an excellent fucking piece of acting by that kid. Because goddamn, do you just want to curb stomp that?
Yeah.
But there's other things that you would expect. Livia Soprano is here. Cersei Lannister from the same show. The governor from Walking Dead is in there. Skylar White is a controversial choice. But even more bizarre is immediately below Skylar White and characters from all these prestige television shows is Sho Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Hey, that's not fair. He should be higher up on that list.
It's showing just how deeply traumatized everyone who ever saw that episode became.
It's really funny because he's not even like a major character in that show.
He's not a major character. That show hasn't been actively aired on television for like I feel like a full 5 years.
Like a decade.
Like we're and that's if we're talking about like the remake.
Yeah.
Because he did it in the other one too.
He did it in the other one too. Like no forgiveness.
I think it's the kind of thing. That's the guy who got like killed, right? Like
no, that's the.
This is the man who turned his dog and daughter into a
dog.
What?
You don't know
daughter.
Yeah, he's the one who did the horrible Frankenstein shit to his own child.
No.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I don't think people should do that personally.
Yeah, well,
and everyone else who voted in this apparently.
Most people agree with.
I thought that these were most favorited characters.
Oh no,
these were
most hated TV
loathed.
Oh.
Let's see.
Why do they don't like Scarlet White? That's fucked up.
That's what
Yeah,
I said.
well,
He should
I
Show Tucker should be higher on that list.
I did say that it was.
It's a controversial opinion,
I
yes.
did say that it was pretty controversial that they put Skylar White on there at all. So, I don't usually get to cover the crime beat on this, but I do enjoy it. So, a former Bandai Namco employee has been prosecuted for stealing merchandise worth 87 million yen. Now,
Whoa.
this is a case of spin in the headlines because I'm going to tell you what he was actually doing.
Uh-oh.
As it turns out, what this guy was doing is that in the off hours, he would come into a facility owned by Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco? Namco. He would slip his way in, and he would take the shit that they were going to destroy, that they were going to get rid of.
Oh shit.
Because I don't know, because they couldn't sell it, or because it was because the product line didn't turn out or whatever, and then he would turn around and he would flip that for extra cash.
Wow. Okay.
And the company has decided to just fucking crucify this guy.
Wow.
It's pretty fucking crazy. So yeah, when they say illegal gain of 87 million yen, it's not that he took one thing worth 87 million yen. It's that he flipped a bunch of shit that was bound for the shredder.
Right. Okay.
Over time. From 2015 to 2023. So it took him a long time to get to that amount.
He was doing it for a good long while.
He was doing it for a good long while. And they decided to just fucking kill him, I guess.
Okay, if it was getting destroyed anyways, how did they determine the value of it?
That's a good fucking question. They determined the value because they estimated the profit that he made, I imagine.
Oh, all right. I mean, man, that's
Which I'm not even sure I consider this like a crime.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Oh well.
And finally, and also it sucks in general for like the fan community of things Bandai Namco does, because it means that like shit that would go away forever.
Right. Yeah.
Like somebody who is providing stuff like that has just been, assassinated.
Right. That's kind of why I'm a little feeling a certain way about this, because like that's how like prototypes get out into the wild, and like it's really important to the like restoration and like the collecting communities. Like they're really into that kind of stuff, and man, that's rough.
And finally, I picked this news item just because the title grabbed me. I am a sucker for this. A Naruto live action adaptation is currently in the works. The Witcher scriptwriter hired.
You.
So they lied, because it's not a scriptwriter for The Witcher, the television show. It is a scriptwriter who wrote The Witcher Blood Origin mini TV series, which I think was an anime. I was like, come on, that was supposed to... You've sensationalized the shit out of that. It was not written by the same people who managed to fucking start beefing with Henry Cavill over the treatment of characters in the show.
Well, they got you.
And yeah, so yeah, they're apparently planning to do Naruto live action from Lionsgate. I don't know. It sounds fucking crazy to me. I hope it's as bad as Death Note.
I'll watch it. I'll watch this shit.
Incidentally, this is the first update we've received on any Naruto live action for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, we'll get it one day.
I saw a child during Halloween wearing a Naruto like outfit and doing the Naruto run, and I felt like nature was healing.
The run.
Play those Kodo drums. And the final piece of news is what we're going to watch today.
Oh my god, that's news.
And I've had difficulty finding like articles and shit about this for the specifics, but I have learned through Twitter that it is time to bring back a segment that we did at the beginning of the year called Mecha. You guys want some mecha?
All right,
Are
let's
you
have
like
some
pulling?
mecha.
Are you pulling aside your like trench coat to like show off your wares?
It's like I'm taking you by the hand. I'm opening the cabinet. I'm showing you my Gundams.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
God.
yeah. You're just gently placing
You're not supposed to have
little
these, you know.
machine into my
Yes,
hands, and I'm.
Yes, I got them from the Bandai Namco criminal man.
I see you now retracting this robot out of my hands specifically, and I feel targeted for that.
So turns out that the Gundam Info channel on YouTube will be streaming Turn A Gundam and Reconquista in G until mid-December. So we're gonna start Turn A Gundam.
Oh, okay. All right, it's a Gundam. Okay.
It's a Gundam.
It's a
It's
Gundam.
a Gundam. My little Gundam fall off of my spaghetti.
So, unclear. What are we turning the Gundam into?
The funniest thing about that is that's just how you say it in English, because the actual Japanese title is an upside down A Gundam.
Oh, okay.
And you can't fucking say it.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay.
But
all right.
no, I didn't bring the lead-in joke because I decided to not bring an in joke. I decided to shock and horrify all of you because
have it.
I want you to I want to introduce you all to the idea of Gundam timelines.
Uh-oh.
Because it's important to this show.
Sure.
So I'm going to show you an
Sure.
image that will cause you to have a seizure.
No. No. Don't make me look at this.
This
Well,
isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
This is only a portion of the image.
Okay, never mind.
So what this is that top line, the one that starts at the very top, is called the Universal Century, and that's the one everybody knows about. That's the one almost everybody knows about. It's got fucking Char, I came here to laugh at you. You know, it's got Amuro, it's got the Gundam. But Gundam has a number of spin-offs, and they all have their own timelines. And this is what makes this one the best Gundam show, which is at the very bottom, you'll see a big blob that says correct century.
Yeah, I see that.
That's where Turn A Gundam is.
Okay.
And what Turn A Gundam is up to that point, it is a timeline that considers everything in every previous Gundam series to be true.
Oh, okay. So you could watch any of the other Gundams, and it would eventually lead to Turn A.
Yes.
Is what I'm getting.
Which is wild because literally none of them are compatible.
That's hilarious. You know what?
But they're compatible with Turn A.
Yeah, is like maybe like all the Gundams we've seen so far are just like half-remembered retellings of history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And they contradict each other because of like
they were all written by people in the Turn A Gundam.
Wait, that kind of rules, actually. Wait, hold on.
That's my headcanon.
That's sick as hell.
So yeah, Blackle, I tasked thee with reading a blurb, which I will now post. I have omitted part of this. I've omitted part of this blurb because it is a straight up spoiler.
I'll crawl into my crypt to answer, to do my duty. It is the correct century, 2 millennia after a
I'm so sorry, Black.
It is the correct century, 2 millennia after a devastating conflict which left the world broken. Earth is now mostly uninhabitable, and thus the remnant of humanity has resided on the moon while the Earth and its few survivors recover. For years, the moon race, the people of the moon, have continued to check if Earth is fit for resettlement. A boy named Lauren Seahack and 2 others are sent down to Earth for a reconnaissance mission. Loran ends up spending a year on the planet working for the Heim family, aristocrats living in a Victorian-like society. This family, like others of similar wealthy status, celebrates one's coming of age with a ceremony involving a giant stone statue known as the White Doll. The end.
Lauren Seabat.
No.
So yeah, let's open on this because we start, as many Gundams do, in space, with 3 children in spacesuits in a machine. We'll call it a machine. Entering orbit. And they all have this curious habit of I think this is a way to deal with the stress of reentry.
Yes.
They all put their visors down and they all start their own little singing their own little nursery rhyme.
Like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and they're something about oh gosh, I don't even remember the other ones.
The one that really got me is the unimaginably far in the future version of 10 Little Indians.
Yeah, the one little moon racer or whatever it was. It's like
also Moonrace feels like a real life slur.
It does.
And also, since I said real life, I should note that the expanded, updated version of that horrifying timeline image I showed you guys has a timeline for the real world in it.
Oh no!
Because that's where Gunpla Build Fighters is supposed to take place. I do not think Gunpla Build Fighters feeds into the correct century.
It's just off on its own somewhere.
Yeah.
No, that the little singing where all of them are just singing their own things all at the same. It was quite eerie.
Yeah, it's spooky.
I thought that was really cool.
I liked it.
And yeah, a thing I'll mention. This is so fucking refreshing. A show from 1999 is because it has none of the DNA of later shows that feel like they have to explain the entire fucking plot to you in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
this show will explain nothing to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like you'll figure it out. Like I want a show to like respect me in that way.
And I should note that this may be because the original Gundam guy Tomino wrote this one.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was his first since the first run of Gundam. I feel like I think he did Gundam, and then he did Zeta Gundam, and then he did Double Z Gundam, and he stopped. So 10 years later, he makes Turn A, and then like another fucking 5 years, and he makes the other films that are like free to stream right now,
awesome.
which have the worst name I've ever heard, Reconquista in G.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, so yeah, they land and they change out of their spacesuits into like relatively pedestrian, like sort of Edwardian clothing, and they're not even dressed like fancy. They're dressed like workmen. And they turn around, and they look down and see what is obviously a giant fucking robot, because that is what they have landed in. And also, they've, for whatever reason, highlighted something I always thought was funny, which is in Gundam, the pilot is never in the head, because why would he be? But they get out of the crotch of this monster.
Yeah.
And later on, they're gonna revisit it, and I'm gonna ask a really important question, because this thing is fucking enormous. Gundams are usually like 30 to 40 feet tall. I think this one is like double that size.
Yeah, it's quite large.
He's huge. But yeah, and then they go their separate ways, and they're all very cheerful about it. It's just like, oh yeah, let's go out and okay,
see you in a bit.
And we follow we follow a dark-skinned, white-haired boy named Loran. And Lauren is just sort of, he just picks a direction and starts walking.
Yep.
Which is pretty interesting, because he immediately encounters a coyote and is afraid of it.
Which, like, it did try and bite him, so.
And also, I don't think it was supposed to be a coyote. I think that was just a mistranslation because it looks like a wolf.
Seemed more like a wolf to me.
Doing re-entry and then immediately having to contend with local wildlife is something that actually happened to Soviet cosmonauts.
Corps.
Yeah.
That's why they used to give them a gun.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I really want one.
You're in Siberia and you're getting attacked by fucking
fucking bears are outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to give them like a gun that had a body of like cast aluminum that was a double. It was 2 barrels of 12 gauge and a 22 caliber survival gun in one gun.
Yeah.
With a pistol grip, no stock for some reason. Very.
You'll figure it out. Good luck.
I've always wanted one. I think they're really cool, but they also cost like $10,000 because they made like 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's actually looking pretty bad for him because all he's got is a stick and no survival instincts. When a shadow passes overhead and somebody shoots at it. Somebody just pops off a couple of shots at it and it runs away. And he looks up and he sees the best airship I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love this thing because you see a lot of airships in anime and shit. And what this thing is like almost true to life. It is a fucking enormous Zeppelin balloon shaped like a wing for some reason. And below it is a tiny car.
Yeah, that's what it has to be.
That is furnished, that is like elegantly furnished and polished.
Yes.
And there is like an Edwardian man leaning out the window with a lever action rifle taking pot shots at it while girls fawn over him.
They're like, "Oh, you chased it away."
just like, oh, you saved the boy. Goodbye, boy. And he's like, "Thank you."
Bye.
Yep.
Anyway, he gets good and sweaty. So whenever he encounters a river, his first instinct, like all of us, is to strip completely nude and enter the water. Normal activities.
Normal activities. This is fine.
But yeah, he also, like, old anime used to just have a lot of like casually naked people in it.
Yes, true.
They don't do that so much anymore. They make a big fuss about it.
Depending on the show.
But yeah, he enters the water and he has a little like water toy. He has like a little fish.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Just metal
and
fish thing.
He's being quite childish about it, and he's just like, ooh, look at it dance in the water. Oh no,
It's
the
like one of
stream's
those
taking
things
it
where
away.
it's like, if you're from the moon, you've probably never seen a river before in your life.
It's exactly
yeah.
like he's experiencing the wonder of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, wee, yippee,
wee.
And it gets away from him, and he goes to chase it and loses his footing in the stream, and starts to drown. And downstream, he actually runs into some. He's actually being washed towards some women, and this is where it really departs from modern anime because they are also bathing and they are also nude. And there was no comedy in this scene, and there is no one makes a fuss about any of it.
Yeah.
Well, they do later.
They mention it offhandedly later, but
But it's it's not.
But
the
it's
way
mostly
that,
like, oh shit, that kid is drowning. Send Saul down the river to catch it.
Yes.
And he also he mistakes her for someone he knows because she resembles somebody that he's familiar with.
Yes.
But yeah, he blacks out. And he wakes up. He sort of comes to while they're putting him into bed in a house in town. Because they just took him in. They're just like, this half drowned rat boy.
Yeah.
The older girl, the blonde girl, takes off. She's very chill and kind of imperious. She's got huge Ojo-sama curls, like gigantic ones. They're so impressive. They make up like the entire silhouette of her head.
It's quite the design.
Very designy. But she's gone by the time he wakes up. But when he wakes up and gets dressed, and I guess somebody in town has taken him in for a moment. Gives him some food in like a really surly fashion.
She's like, normally no one would bother with you, but since you were half drowned.
Nobody bother with a fucking drifter. But and the other sister is still there, and she's just like,
She's the one that makes a fuss about, I think.
Well, she's just teasing him, and she plucks up his little fish toy, and it's just like, you were more interested in this than us, huh?
Yeah, that was the line that I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
And he's just like, stop that, give it back, come on, and she just leaves with it out the door. And anyway, they get around to the fact that he's washed up. He's washed up and been taken in by the Heim family, and he's just like, the Heim family. I was hoping to work for them in one of their mines. Wait a minute, is this their place? He ends up he follows her to the big house, and he run. They see the older girl. I think her name is Kirhei.
Kihel?
Kihel? It's the place. So he thanks them for saving him, and she says, I was purifying myself for my coming of age ceremony, and you ruined everything. And he's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, well, I asked my father to give you a job. Yeah, he bows
and then
and
he like
scrapes.
hits his face
Falls
on
over
the
on
fucking
his
floor.
head.
It's so funny.
Yeah, his backpack is too heavy.
Yeah. Just like fucking face plants.
Some of the animation in this is suspect, but they do impart a lot of charm to these characters.
Sure.
This is there's this one part where like the woman in the background just like blips out of existence. Like it's the kind of thing where it's like, I absolutely can forgive the bad animation because I thought the story was really cool.
Yeah, I was
also,
having a
like,
good time.
They're putting like, what am I trying to say? They're putting a lot of character into these characters at the very least.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, it's like, I enjoy these characters in this story, so I'm inclined to forgive what is obviously a marshaling of resources to put them where they matter.
Sure.
Because this shit doesn't matter. Background characters don't matter. That money is being saved to animate the fucking Gundam when it shows up.
Yeah.
All the dollars went to Big Robot.
Like, this animation reminded me of the fucking Little Women animation.
I could see that.
Well, it's because it's Edwardian, but
yeah. But also, like,
actually,
the coloring and.
I'll give you a spoiler. It is actually, all of this money isn't even being saved to animate the Gundam. It is being saved to animate one scene with the Gundam that occurs at the end of the anime.
Yes, I can believe that.
It is being saved for the butterfly wings.
Okay, all right.
Okay, all right, intriguing.
Which I have wanted to see for a long time, but yeah. She gets him a job.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, well, my dad is going to give you a job at the mine.
And then we cut away for them for a little bit because we got to cut to some fighter pilots.
Yeah.
Because we've got a standard issue anime cute mechanic girl flying a fucking plane. Against her dad, and he's got a backwards
biplane. Yeah,
he's got a backwards biplane, which is 100% badass. Because there's no reason it shouldn't work. They just didn't build them like that.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do a little race. What else? We cut back to. Do we go to the mine? Yeah, it's the mine now.
Yeah.
Because it's been a couple of days, and like Lauren has ingratiated himself to his new employers, and they come down to we start with a guy going down into the mine. It's to be like, where's Lauren? It's just like, oh, he's down working on the elevator shaft, and you go there, and it's like the kid is now ripped. It feels like he started kind of. But he's like ripped and covered in like machine oil, and it's just like the boss has heard about your affinity for machines. He wants to see you.
I feel like we missed the girls' coming of age ceremony.
Well,
I think that happened before that.
Yeah,
what?
it
No,
did.
they
Because
couldn't
there,
have.
because there was a small,
That was
like
the
time
day
skip.
of.
Was it
Yeah.
was it the day of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like, my coming of age ceremony's tonight or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fine.
And then
We'll
it
do that
happens.
one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Lauren and the younger sister was just like, oh, let's go observe the coming of age ceremony, which is a pretty interesting ceremony. It's got Japanese like fire festival feel to it, which is I assume they would be drawing on like their own
Yes.
experience with like local festivals. There's a lot of
Yes.
chanting, a lot of dancing. People got reeds strapped to their heads.
I thought they were going to kill this girl.
It felt it felt a little bit like that, but hey, sometimes people just get out the fire and floats and just have a good time. Listen, it's not always throwing somebody in the volcano. Sometimes it's Diwali.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They were making a big deal about secrecy and like they were like,
Yeah.
you can't come to this because you're an outsider still.
Well, actually, I think they're setting up another coming of age ceremony later on.
Well, yeah, they're gonna do his.
Yeah, they're gonna do his and
But,
the
like,
girls, and they
That's
wanted to
after
actually.
the time skip.
That's after a year, and they wanted it to be secret from us.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes. That is why they did it that way. But I just
But yeah, Lauren and what's her name, Soshi.
yes.
They do a little sneaking, and what and a guy is just like, this is as far as you go. You're too young to be on the mountain tonight. And it's just like, well, what about me? I'm old enough. It's just like, well, you're an outsider, and he's just like, well, fuck that. And he ducks him,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
creep up
So
the mountain to
excited.
watch the ceremony. And what they've done with Kihel is she is riding a big wooden float with a cigar store Indian on it.
Yeah.
Is all I can say. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what it was meant to represent, but
It sure did look like that, is
but
the
it's
thing.
really big, and they carry the whole they just carry the whole thing up the mountain with her on it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get to the top of the mountain, they set it up in front of a big statue built in the mountain called the White Doll, and they're singing a song about how men will be men and women will be women. I'm just like, huh.
That's sus.
I want to
I-
know what this ceremony is.
I've got some ideas about that.
Yeah, I
But,
think whenever she was like, "You're gonna be my partner,"
yeah, I'm gonna select a partner.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's
That-
they leave all the kids on top of the mountain. They say adults got to go back down to the base. This is an all night ceremony, and it's gonna be just them.
Yeah,
So it makes me think that the coming of age ceremony is it's just like, okay, kids, we've got you all together and put you on top of a mountain with no adult supervision. Do
what
whatever.
you're gonna
You'll
do.
figure something out.
do what you do best.
Have fun and be safe.
Y'all,
Yeah.
do you need a condom before I go? I don't know. Anyhow.
I mean, that's what we've done all human history. There's a lot of fire, and the adults are gonna go get drunk. So, a
Mhm.
lot of fire and sweaty people in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
But that's not what catches Lauren's attention, because what catches Lauren's attention is the big fucking statue behind them
Yes.
called the White Doll,
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and he's just like, wow, that's really something. And then he comes back to the mountain, and we rejoin him at the part I was talking about, which is arguably more important.
Well, yeah, but like if you start doing that part, then you're gonna completely miss the ceremony, which is
And I
feel
also
like,
missed another part because a visiting nobleman had showed up with his new auto.
yes.
I really like the dedication to drawing cool ass machines.
Yes.
In this,
Yes,
it
yes.
actually feels kind of Studio Ghibli.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I like it.
Echoing Tomino is echoing Miyazaki's obsession with planes, but except he wants to do cars,
Mhm.
mining equipment and shit. But yeah, the guy's got a cool new car, and they're talking about it. It's just like, oh, Mister, what's his name? I don't know if he's important enough Yeah, he's
I
not
don't
listed in the
actually
characters,
know.
but he's a visiting nobleman, and he says it's like even passenger cars should behave like sports cars, and it's got like seats in the trunk,
Hmm.
and it's like pure white.
The girls are like fawning over it.
Well, the one girl is fawning over it because
Yeah.
Kiel is the kind of girl who's just like, that's not that impressive.
That's true. She's not impressed by much from
It's
what
just
I
like
can tell.
that's a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, the scene in the mine goes down where they go down and get him, and he's up there sweating like Zoolander.
Yes.
And he's just like they want to see you. He's just like, oh shit. So he goes up to the big house again, and he sees the girls again, and he's just like, girl spotted.
Yeah, pretty much.
White woman spotted.
Stop.
But no, he goes in through the servants' entrance. And we cut back to the younger sister's point of view because she's sort of creeping on her dad's dealings. Her dad is a cool guy. He's just a squat motherfucker, continuing the long trend of anime characters inexplicably wearing bolo ties.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he's got one.
Nice. He looks like a guy that would wear one, yeah.
The Japanese fucking love bolo ties. I have no idea why.
Funny.
But yeah, he's talking to this nobleman about politics, and this is just like, hey, we're gonna start purchasing fighter planes. It's just like there might be some fighting at sea with the Galleons or whoever they are, country next door. But he's just like, do you really think there's going to be a war? It's just like, it doesn't even really matter if there's a war. I'm going to use the opportunity to industrialize society. I am going to do capitalism.
Yep.
Or rather, I'm not. Actually, that's funny. He's not doing capitalism. He's doing what the European nobility thought they were doing, which was bringing their countries into the future with industrialization with no price, and they definitely wouldn't change the status quo at all. We'll still be on top. Of course, we'll still be on top. Things aren't going to change at all for us.
Mm-hmm.
What's a businessman? You can't be a businessman. You're a commoner. Oh shit! What's happening? But yeah, they get interrupted because they bring in Lauren, and he's just like, hey kid, you're gonna be my new chauffeur. It's just like, really? And it's just like, yeah, we're gonna send you to get half an education.
Mm-hmm.
Because you seem bright. It's useful to have bright people around. And Lauren's just like, yep, yes sir, thank you. What I really like about Lauren is his commitment to commitment to the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that he can't fuck up and say something that reveals he's from the moon.
Sure, he's just kind of playing the dumb kid.
So he just goes along with whatever.
He's like, yep, sounds good to me.
This nobleman is the same guy from the airship earlier who shot at the wolf for him, and he recognizes him because he has white hair.
Yes.
He's just like, oh, thank you very much. And he calls him Laura for the entire meeting.
He keeps
and
calling him Laura.
Never corrects him.
Yeah, he just lets it happen. It's very
he's
funny.
Just like, I'm Laura. It's fine.
It's funny because both of the girls notice, but I think it's Kiel only thinks about it 20 minutes after the guy leaves. She's like, was he calling him Laura the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny. I did laugh out loud.
So yeah, he's gonna get a snappy new uniform, which suspiciously looks like it was designed to make him look good because you see it on another guy, and the other guy only looks kind of mid.
Yeah.
It's just like, and yes, it will be double breasted and have a bib that perfectly matches the color of your hair. So yeah, he's their new machine guy. He's their man in the car, which used to mean a lot more than just driving people around.
Sure.
Used to be their go-to for whatever the fuck they needed while they were out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next scene?
I think
he has to go. He has to prove himself. So he drives around Mr. Nobleman's car.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
with Sochi in the back seat, sitting on on the top of the seat like people used to do in convertibles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
Mhm.
just like wow, the way people used to ride in cars before so many people fell out of them and got decapitated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or so many
uh,
people died.
And there's a long scene here because their previous chauffeur is following them with Kiel in the back, and I don't know what emotion they're trying to portray with her, but it's indescribable. It's really vibes.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
she's watching her sister like with her hair blowing in the wind, and it's so wistful. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I kind of got. I was sort of reading this as Sochi is like a little like jealous of Kiel somehow. I don't
Well,
know if that's what they were going for, but that's
but
the
yeah,
vibes that I
I,
was getting.
she's just riding in the enclosed thing, watching Soji, and it's just like, wow, I wish I could be riding in the back of a convertible driven by a dark-skinned twink boy. But my position in society forbids it.
I don't know.
But yeah, after that we sort of skip something. There's some incidental talk about them being sent to the coming of age ceremony next year.
They're driving in the rain at one point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We move a few days from now because Lauren has to drive them in the rain, and his portion of the car does not have a roof,
Yes, he is getting soaked.
which is great.
Mm,
He has to drive them into town because oh yeah, it's because Keel got invited to a party by Mr. Nobleman,
yes.
and she has to go pick accessories. So they drive into town, and she goes into a department store, and Sochi doesn't go because she's like, I don't want to watch her shop. What the fuck?
Mhm.
I'm not going to this party. Why would I give a shit?
Yeah.
So they sit out there and just sort of hang out, and Lauren notices somebody pass by, and he's just like, wait a second, that's Keith, from the spaceship.
It's one of his space friends.
And they just sort of lock eyes, and they're just like, huh? Yeah.
He's like, hey.
And he looks around and he sees Sochi reading, and he's just like, he sidles over there, and he's just like, so you're a baker, huh? It's like, yeah. It's just like, what's oh god, what's her name? Frau. It's a take on the original Gundam girl, Frau Bo.
I think her name is Fran in this.
Is it
Maybe.
It's Fran,
Yeah, I think so.
Fran. Yeah, but I know what it's calling back to. Fran Doll. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Frau Bo, but it's Fran Doll.
Yes, yes.
And just like, what's she doing? It's just like, oh yeah, she works in the city too. And he's like, cool. And he hands him a note. He's just like, get the fuck out of here. And we don't read the note, but we can surmise what it means later because
It's probably like meet up here at this time.
because yeah, they
Yes.
drive somewhere else. He drives the girls to like lessons. Like music lessons, it seems like, because
Yes.
Sochi gets out of hers early, and Kiel's still learning the violin badly, apparently.
She's getting scolded by her teacher.
So when Sochi comes out, she's just like, huh, Lauren isn't with the car. Wonder where he is. And she just goes around town being a goofball for a minute.
She's gonna do some
presumably
sneaking
looking
and
for him.
spying.
And she does actually spy him because he's sitting on the steps outside of like a closed bank or something with Keith, because Keith like creeps up on him and scares him with a baguette.
It's very funny because it's just a piece of bread pops in out of nowhere, and you're like,
He's
oh.
just like, oh, you were here the whole time. And they start catching up about it, and he's just like, this is really good, actually. He's just like, yeah. Are you surprised? I can cook, but he's just like, so where's Fran Doll? It's just like, oh, she'll be here shortly, and they catch up a little more, and she shows up, and so she's just like, oh, they must be old hometown friends. And when Fran Doll shows up, she shows up and she's like, yeah, I've been working in a print shop. Like I thought I would get the news quicker, but nothing about the moon has come through, and they're like, "Shut up about that." He's just like, "My hands smell like ink all the time. Smell them.
He's
They
just like,
reek." And he's just like,
yeah,
"I kind of
you're
like
right.
it." And we cut back to the other, and he's just like, "Oh, is she forcing him to kiss her hand?" Ooh, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, I'm getting very much Sochi like
She,
Loran
I
sort
think
of
both of them.
vibes.
I think both of them kind of like Loran.
Yeah, maybe.
But
And be goddess.
so what am I saying? So yeah, we close that scene, and the next I think is at night at their little compound, because she's definitely like, she's like, something's going on with him. I'm gonna keep an eye on him. So some time
Because
passes in which you can like surmise what happened in between, because she gets up and she goes to the other chauffeur, and she's just like, "Come on, let's follow them." It's like,
yeah,
he said he was going down to fix a car on down by the mountain. She's like, "Oh, he turned the opposite way. Turn the headlights off." Because he's going out to check on the flat, which is the robot they arrived in, because they got to keep an eye on it.
Mhm.
And
It's
yeah,
important.
he goes up into the mountains with a shovel, and goes to starts to dig and check on the machine. And they and Sochi and Dude roll up a little ways down the road, and she gets out on foot and follows him up there and finds him after he has dug up a portion of it and is just like laying on it, like lovingly.
Yeah,
Like
he's
hugging
like
it with his whole body.
Like a mother's womb.
Which leads me to a really important question, even though I like this scene, because we'll finish the scene, because he stands up and he's just like, "Earth is such a great place. It's such a great place." And he turns to the moon and he says, "Come home soon. Come back
yes,
soon."
Mhm.
come here to the Earth.
Yeah.
The episode title was "Howl at the Moon," so that's what he's
Yes,
doing.
this is the episode title.
So
Yes.
my important
Mhm.
question to start the discussion of this is, how the fuck did they bury it?
Yeah, I was wondering
It
that
was
too.
60 feet
Actually,
tall. Did they use
Well,
fucking
the thing is
dynamite?
that when it lands, like you hear like a drilling sound, right?
Oh,
So what I
was there a
imagine is
drilling
that it
sound?
drills in a, yeah. There was like, it was going, "Brr," and then like sort of like dirt and stuff flies up. So what I imagine happens is that it lands, drills down a little bit, opens up the like
opens
exit
its little
cockpit
crotch
thing so they
thing,
can leave,
and
and
then
then it drills down
keeps
further.
digging down. I could believe that.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see. I believe this thing's actual name is the Turn X, and I'm checking to see if it has drills.
You know, if you turn an X, it just looks like an X.
I was gonna
That
say.
is true. I cannot tell you if it has drills.
But yeah, that ending sequence where he's like digging, it was really like well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just because like, okay, they have like music overlaid. That's really good.
Mhm.
The characterization is good.
It's
I don't know.
really
I liked.
suspenseful. Sochi's seeing something weird.
Yeah,
He's a
Yeah.
spaceman.
Him like howling to the moon is very like
it's evocative.
what's the word, like yeah, it's very how do I say this, like a radio play, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like, or like stage play, like the character like is announcing something.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it's sort of like more theatrical than anything, you know.
It's
because
over the
obviously
top.
they can't hear him.
Yes,
And-
but like.
And at the same time, isn't it something that you might do if you were in his
Yeah.
position?
Sure. Yeah.
Probably.
Because that's really hopeful, right? If
Yeah.
you've been living, if people have been living on the moon for 2 millennia, and you come back to the Earth and it looks like this now,
Right.
you're just like, fucking
Like, this is
great.
pretty fucking
We don't have
baller.
to live on the moon anymore.
Nature exists. The world is beautiful. There's bread.
Because yeah,
Bread, look at all the bread we have.
living on the moon, there's no way that it's good.
I can't
That's what
imagine
I'm
that
gonna
it's
say.
great.
There's probably some good parts to it, but it's probably mostly bad.
It's probably mostly bad.
It's probably not as bad
Um,
as it would actually be, which is the worst.
Yes, I'm sure that they have their future tech to make it less than the worst, but I can
Yeah.
still imagine that
Shut up!
a
Shout out to Hideo Kojima's science fiction work, Police Knots, for the least flattering depiction of life in space ever, in which everybody has to get constant organ transplants because they're being consistently irradiated.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a good scene, and
So yeah, what do we think overall about this show?
I thought it was really good. When I first was watching it, I wasn't sure that I was going to get into it because I was like, oh, I don't know about this animation. I don't know if I'm feeling any of this story so far, but like I don't know, the characterization is good. Once more of the story was laid out, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I was like, well, loath as I am to admit it, I have to call this good.
Yeah. My take was that like I started watching it and I've never like had success with Gundam. Like I've always found it like kind of boring. So watching like these characters in their like suits and stuff is like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then they start like singing to themselves. I'm like, okay, that's a choice. Let's see where let's let them cook. And then they land and then they get out. And then they're like they change into those outfits and they like go their separate ways, and I'm like, I know exactly what's going on because I kind of got primed for this kind of storyline because I recently watched this like hour-long video on YouTube called recommendations for time travelers going to medieval Europe.
I saw that in my recommends.
It's like this long 1 hour like this guy who's a historian basically like explains history through the context of being a time traveler and like what you should or shouldn't do. And it's really fun. Great. So watching this, I'm just like, oh, this is just that, but made manifest, and I was like on board from like the get-go, basically.
Another thing that I will say is I think I kind of liked that this is a bit of a slow burn. Because we don't see a Gundam at all in the first episode.
You've already
I respect that.
Hey. You've already seen a Gundam.
Well, you don't see a Gundam that's not buried and or covered with something mysterious.
Yeah, not the first one. Not the one they arrived in.
Yeah.
No, I'm aware of where the Gundam is because I did read the rest of the blurb that you didn't copy paste.
I saw the description on the Wikipedia. Not the Wikipedia.
You guys know what the Gundam looks like because he's one of my favorite weirdos.
I see the poster.
They show a clip from the next episode.
Yeah, they do show that off.
Yeah, but I'm down. Like literally, if your mecha anime doesn't have any mecha in the first episode, that is like such a baller choice.
It's really confident.
But the thing is,
it is.
Yeah, the thing is, Gundam Wing did the same thing. And it was like really weird. I don't think that's the funny thing. I don't know why this happened to me, but Gundam Wing was my first attempt at watching it.
That happened to a lot of people, actually. And
I was just like, what is fuck is going on? I don't know any of these people. I think this is like probably, honestly, I would say this is probably like just having seen the first episode. So obviously like, I think that I would, if I had watched this episode as my first episode of Gundam, I'd probably like be a huge Gundam fan. But I thought this was really fucking good.
Yeah,
I will probably watch more of this.
I got into Gundam because of a video game called Gundam Breaker, where you could just take them apart and put them together in new configurations.
Yes.
But
so this is the I will remind everyone, this is the second Gundam we have watched on the podcast so far. How does everyone feel about that?
Well,
I straight up can't remember the first one we watched.
It was Witch from Mercury, which a lot of us really like.
It's good.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you might have
not been here.
Blackle, I definitely wasn't here for that.
Blackle, if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking it out.
Go give that one a watch because that's also quite good.
As a old time Gundam head, I have to say those two are actually more similar than they are different, because they have very little to do with any of the mainline Gundam Universal Century shit, which is war dramas.
Right.
Both of these are much more science fiction.
Yes.
Than war drama.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was gonna like this because I always wanted to see it because I've heard it's one of the fucking weirdest Gundams.
I'm into
And-
that.
And I have a weakness for a story at the end of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
this
that.
is
that.
happening like fucking 10,000 years into the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like
You might like
that.
Seven Eves then.
Am I like what?
Seven Eves. It's a book.
Oh,
It's basically a similar premise.
hit me with a
Basically,
link to something about it later, and I'll check it out because that sounds good.
Yeah. It's a book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
So-
you can read
Yeah,
it.
would we all watch? Would we all watch another episode?
I would absolutely watch more
I
of
would.
this.
I mean,
it is
I'm gonna watch
50
more. Not right
episodes
now.
long.
It's chunky.
As-
That's a lot.
I mean, it's not
That,
an
that definitely
impossible
makes
amount.
me feel a little bit,
But
a little less good about
Hey,
watching
listen,
this,
it's the one episode rule. It doesn't
Also,
mean
Blackle.
if you agree, you have to watch all episodes.
Blackle,
Mhm.
let me remind you.
Yeah,
It's on YouTube and you can double speed it
hmm
quite
that's
easily.
still a lot. That's still
It's
like half
still-
an hour per.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like a lot,
That's
but
like 15 minutes per at 2x. The thing is, I can't watch it at 2x because I can't read subtitles that fast. I
That's
can
true.
max
That
it
is
out.
Fair
one of my
enough.
gripes about this particular format too. I really wish we had gotten a hard subbed version.
Yeah, alas.
It just feels weird to read the captions, even though I know the captions. I know somebody's gone over the captions to make sure they aren't shit, but
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, if you'd like to tell us what your favorite Gundam is, you can do that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That's one the word, not the number. You can tweet us. We're on Twitter at OneEpisodeCast. We're also on Blue Sky at OneEpisodeCast. We use Blue Sky. Can't remember the last time I've looked at Blue Sky, y'all.
Listen, I update the podcast there. It happens. There's at
It
least
happens.
one thing happening.
There's at least something there. So if you are a Blue Sky user,
So
send us an
I-
email, please. I miss having emails.
I love the Turn A Gundam, and I think it's just because it has a mustache.
It has a mustache. It's
He is
fantastic.
such a weird motherfucker compared to all the other Gundams. Because all the other Gundams are blocky and heroic, and they have helmets, and he has a
mustache and like
weird
almost like a
orb
bowl
head
cut thing.
and a mustache and no straight lines on him.
Yeah. I'm into it. I'm into this. Thank
I'm
you, Gundam.
interested in this.
Wow, cool robot.